Well, we just received some pretty big news out of the state of Michigan, as it appears that Michigan Congresswoman Haley Stevens will officially be running for the 2026 Michigan Senate race. Yes, it is official. It's not speculation. It is confirmed that yes, Haley Stevens will be running. And to say that this primary is looking like a disaster for Democrats would be an understatement. I mean, guys, right now, it's looking like a three-way circus that while it seems likely that Haley Stevens will win the primary, at the bare minimum, this is going to be a very brutal primary that, if things go south for Democrats quickly, there's a good chance that they lose the seat in 2026. Fourth term Congresswoman Haley Stevens has launched a run for Michigan's open Senate seat on Tuesday with a video focused on the economic crisis caused by President Trump's tariff policies. Oh, yeah, the economic crisis. Like, guys, for starters, this is such stupid messaging, especially in Michigan. Like, you're gonna blame the economic quote unquote crisis on Trump's policies? Really? You're gonna blame Trump for this? But ignore that for a second, that this is just misleading at best. You do understand that you're in Michigan, right? This is one of the most pro-tariff states in the country. I mean, guys, the car industry's in Detroit. Well, do you think that these voters in Michigan, they hate tariffs? For crying out loud, the head of the UAW said, "We love what Trump is doing. We support the tariffs." I mean, this guy's a partisan Democrat, and he's saying, "We love tariffs." Walking through a lot full of pickup trucks and SUVs to make the case that she's a candidate who will protect the state's critical auto industry, she says his chaos and reckless tariffs are putting tens of thousands of Michigan jobs at risk. What? Guys, is this really the Democrat messaging? Is this really the strongest Democrat for 2026? This is Michigan. The voters support tariffs. And you have companies like Ford announcing to the world that, hey, during this time, we plan to make more stuff here. We're not going to fire 10,000 employees. No, we're going to double production. And you know what? In America, we're going to give people discounts to buy our stuff. That's what Ford is doing right now. But this messaging, you could tell it was made by some crappy intern that has no clue what the hell they're doing. Guys, we're not talking about some super free trade state. No, this is Michigan. This state got utterly screwed by the free trade policy of the last 50 years. And now you think these people support free trade? That has to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But again, you can tell the Democrat Party, they're not ran by people that understand the working class. They're not. This party's ran by idiots that really believe, oh, middle America, they love free trade. No, they may not like what Trump is doing with tariffs, that's one thing, but that doesn't mean they support free trade. They may just say, well, maybe tariffs against Canada, that's not the best thing, but they absolutely support tariffing China, Mexico, India. They support this. But Democrats have this weird idea that, oh, these voters, they all love free trade. No. Stevens, a Democrat, is the fourth well-known candidate to join what is quickly becoming one of the nation's most watched Senate races, with the Republicans' 53-47 majority at stake in a battleground state Trump won in November. Quickly a top possible contender after Democratic Senator Gary Peters chose not to seek re-election, Stevens will oppose McMorrow and former gubernatorial candidate and public health official El Said in the Democratic primary. Which, listen, this primary is going to be an utter disaster. I have no clue what Democrats are thinking, but right now they have three major candidates, and I know Haley Stevens right now is probably the favorite. Like, I assume she's going to win the primary as of now. Now, there's a chance she could lose, which we'll get to that in a second. But this isn't a race where it's a foregone conclusion she's going to win. Far from it, in fact. I mean, like the AP was saying, you of course have Mike Rogers running on the Republican side, but on the Democrat side, you already have two major candidates that could actually win. It's not a guarantee, but you have El Said and McMorrow. And these are two candidates that are already getting significant backing. Like El Said, for example, look who's already backing him. Bernie Sanders and Congressman Ro Khanna. These two are pretty big names in progressive circles, especially Bernie, and already he's getting the progressive support. So you could tell El Said is the more progressive candidate in this race. He's a Muslim, and he's going to appease the Muslim and progressive base of the Democrat Party. Well, guess what? That's a substantial base in Michigan. Like, it's not 1% or whatever, especially on the Democrat side. It's probably like a quarter of the vote is probably that fairly progressive and Muslim vote. That's Michigan. So already he's getting substantial support among these more progressive Democrats. And McMorrow, she's a state senator, and I believe that she actually is getting support already. And this race is not a guarantee for Stevens. So already it is not looking good for Dems. Their three main candidates, they're not particularly strong, and already it's going to be a shit show of a primary. But now when you factor in, oh yeah, Mike Rogers more than likely is going to be uncompetitive on the Republican side, which we'll get to in a second, Democrats have a big problem here. I mean, Mike Rogers, like the AP is saying, he barely lost in 2024. He lost by like 19,000 votes. And that race, in my opinion, if he would have gotten a bit more money, he probably would have won. I mean, that race, you had a third-party candidate that took some votes away from him. He came damn close to beating Slotkin, who, listen, Slotkin is not the best candidate in the world, but compared to McMorrow, El-Sayed, and, now Haley Stevens, she was a far stronger candidate, and she had a fairly uncompetitive primary. I know there were people that ran, but she still got the vast majority of the base. Haley Stevens does not have that. Right now, Mike Rogers has no real primary. I swear, if Tudor Dixon runs, that's a different story, but more than likely, he's going to win the primary with 80% of the vote, if not like 95%. And the Democrat side right now, it's three major candidates that are appeasing three separate coalitions. So if you're the Democrat Party, you're probably going to be sweating a little bit. Like, oh wait, Haley Stevens, she's our best candidate maybe, but does that mean she's going to win the primary? Stevens will seek to defend her tenure in Congress in the Democratic primaries. McMorrow and El-Sayed establish themselves as outsiders. McMorrow is known nationally for her viral moments, and El-Sayed has the backing of Senator Bernie Sanders, which already, that makes those two candidates fairly strong. El-Sayed has the backing of progressives, and there's a bunch of Democrats that know who McMorrow is, and she's not some slouch either. So, start doing the math, and this primary, I don't know what Democrats do here. Do they try to force El-Sayed out? I don't think they can. He's got the backing of Bernie, got the backing of Ro Khanna. I doubt that he's going to back down no matter what. So no matter what, you're getting a candidate that has the backing of some pretty big progressives. Before Congress, Stevens served in the U.S. Treasury's Auto Task Force following the 2008 financial crisis as President Barack Obama's administration bailed out General Motors and Chrysler, which, listen, I don't think it's a good idea to run on this. Because, let's be honest here, the more people look back at Obama, the more people realize, oh, that administration sucked. The recovery was awful, the bailout was pathetic, and yeah, it might have saved some jobs here and there, but it really screwed the middle class. So is this a good idea to run as the, oh yeah, I was a part of Obama's administration to, save the economy? I don't think so. She said Trump's taxes on imports are creating another crisis for the Michigan economy, which rides or stalls based on the auto industry's condition. This is stupid. What the hell are you talking about? Right now, you're seeing companies like Ford announcing, we're making more stuff here, here's a discount for Americans. That's a fact. And you're going to say, oh, the Michigan economy, it's going to sink. No. In fact, a bunch of companies, they're saying, you know what? We're going to make stuff here in like Michigan or maybe places like Indiana. People are very much at a boiling point around the uncertainty of tariffs. Who? Outside of Democrats, who is at this boiling point? Maybe some rhinos on the right, but the vast majority of people, they either don't care enough or they may think Trump's going a bit too far, but they understand, oh wait, this is the bring back jobs and we support what he's doing with China because they've been screwing us over for years. Stevens has been an ardent voice from Michigan against Trump's tariffs, particularly those leveraged against Canada. She said they're disruptive to the auto industry and having a dizzying effect on companies of all sizes whose leaders cannot make plans as Trump repeatedly changes positions. Which, okay, fine. You can make an argument that maybe Trump's changing things a bit too much, but at the same time, is this really going to close a bunch of companies up? Do you really think this is going to kill Ford when they're already saying we're announcing big discounts? No, these companies, they're realizing this is an opportunity to make stuff here and hey, maybe even make more money. However, Stevens among the Democrats who have sought to clarify they're not inherently anti-tariff. Oh, bullshit. So if you're not anti-tariff, why are you running against Trump's tariffs then? Why? This is utter stupidity. There's no word to describe this other than incompetence. This is the Democrat Party. Guys, you cannot say you're not anti-tariff but be against every single thing Trump has done. No, you can't. Because you know what's going to happen? People aren't going to believe you. And ignoring the fact they're trying to claim they're not anti-tariff or whatever, does this sound like somebody that's from Michigan? Does this sound like somebody that's totally from Michigan and understands the voters? No. Haley Stevens, it sounds like a liberal from like California or the Northeast. She does not sound like a blue dog dem from Detroit. No, she sounds like a free trade Democrat from the Northeast. Do you really think this is going to work well? And I know people are going to argue, well, the trade stuff has hurt Trump a little bit. Okay, that's true, but that was for like a week or so. Rasmussen, which polls daily, they're finding Trump's numbers are back up to where they were before the tariffs. In fact, they're actually higher. So yeah, it might have hurt Trump and Republicans for a couple weeks, but now the numbers are indicating that no, these tariffs, they might have hurt Trump for a little bit, but now it's actually helping Trump a little bit with certain demographics. Like I was saying earlier, you had the UAW president say, we love these tariffs. Right here, Shawn Fain, president of the nation's top auto worker union based in Michigan, endorsed Trump's auto tariffs as leverage aimed at bringing back domestic manufacturing jobs. That's what Shawn Fain, a partisan Democrat, who does whatever the Democrat Party says to do, is saying. This is in Michigan. And you're going to run around saying Trump's tariffs are unpopular, they're stupid. Not in Michigan. The state of Michigan, they love these tariffs. But for whatever reason, the Democrat Party, they're so deranged that they're going to possibly risk lose the support of unions like the UAW, which I'm not saying they're going to lose like Shawn Fain or whatever, but they may lose a bunch of union members who they may not like Mike Rogers, but at least he's saying, hey, I'm going to support your jobs. I'm going to support Trump's trade policies, which they love, especially in Michigan. And speaking of Mike Rogers, I really believe he can win this race. I really believe he can win. Is it a guarantee? No. But like I was saying earlier, Mike Rogers right now is a clear frontrunner. He is a clear frontrunner outside of Tudor Dixon running, but even then, Trump more than likely is going to back him, and he's already getting the support of people like Tim Scott, John Thune, which again, these are not the best names in the world, but it does seem like, especially John Thune's endorsement, it does seem like the party's getting behind him. Same thing with Tim Scott. He's the National Republican Senatorial Committee chair. So overall, I think people getting behind Mike Rogers quickly is good. And the Democrat Party, they're in such a mess right now that all Mike Rogers has to do is run a halfway good campaign. Don't make any F-ups. And he could actually win. Especially when you factor in the Democrat Party's a joke right now. They're at 21% approval. The primary's a three-way shitfest. And their candidates are not particularly strong. They all have very weak arguments. And in fact, some of these campaigns just suck. I mean, you're going to run as a free trade Democrat in Michigan? That's your plan? But anyways, folks, we're not going to know for the next couple of months what's going to happen here because a lot could happen. Maybe the party does get behind Haley Stevens right away, but the way it's looking like, even if that happens, you have a bunch of progressive Democrats, they're already going with El Cid. They're not going to vote Stevens. So a lot could happen, but if you're the Democrat Party, you have to be in a full-blown panic in Michigan because you're about to possibly lose this race. Which, if they lose Michigan in 2026, their pathway to a Senate majority for the next, 20 years, it's gone. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.